Hello, Mr. Patterson. This is episode 13, I believe, or episode 14, I'm not sure. But I know you said that this analysis was optional, but I still felt like doing it just because it's still an assignment on Teams, and also because I like this film personally. I've watched it before, so I'm not new to the film. I actually watched it, I think, like 4 years ago. Or no, like 2 years ago I watched it. I was in like almost the end of 8th grade, and it was an amazing film. I personally loved it. I remember at that point I've always loved TV. I've always loved movies, and I've always loved film, but I've never had the type of love I have for it like how I do now. I was never that into. Obviously, I would notice good cinematography styled, like all that stuff, but it's not the same. When I would watch a film, I would mainly just watch it as an entertainment. I didn't see all the other factors that go behind actually making and producing that film. So, watching this film again, now from a whole different point of view, I'm even older now, it's crazy. But yeah, I love this film. I loved it when I first watched it, and it's just amazing. I'm not gonna get too crazy about this analysis because I don't want to I know that this is mainly extra credit, so I still felt like doing it, and yeah, I do believe that this is an amazing film, and I loved it so much. I remember the first time I watched it, it was it was in my English class, and we had been there like the whole day because of some weird testing schedule. But it was funny because when I watched it, I remember I watched most of it. Obviously I paid attention to the whole film itself. I did watch the whole film. I watched every part of it. But I didn't watch it straight up. I just watched it. No, not like how you would regularly watch a movie. I would go on my phone. I would talk to everybody. But I would still I would still obviously watch the film. And I know what happened from beginning to end. But it was so funny because when I'm saying, I watched it from such a different point of view at that time. I don't think I really bask in the glory of the actual film itself. And it's funny because now that I'm older, I that ending still hits different because I remember when I first watched the film in class and I literally wanted to cry. I was so sad at the ending. Oh my god, I was so mad, and I wasn't even mad. I was upset, but it was just so beautiful, how it all happened. Obviously, a death is never beautiful, but just the way that it was used in this film for the circumstances, why it was necessary for the film. I mean, I just think it was amazing. And yeah, I guess I'll talk a bit about the film. I'm not gonna go too crazy in this. I just kind of wanted to talk about it because it's an amazing film. It's underrated. It's so underrated, and it deserves more recognition. So obviously this film is called, as you already know, I'm searching it up on Google because I want to have all that information out there, the year it was made, which I know is 1997. But yeah, anyway, it's called Life is Beautiful, and it's rated PG-13, which is obviously, of course, a very nice rating actually. And it was made in 1997, and it is technically a war/romance genre. So it's beautiful, obviously. It's an amazing film, I'm not gonna lie, and it was definitely set in a very tough time for Jewish people, obviously. That's the whole plot of the movie. But I guess, I'll just talk about the plot first. I'm sorry, I can't speak today. But there is this Jewish Italian waiter. His name is, I never know how to say his name. Guido. I forgot his name. Guido, played by Roberto Benigni. But the funny thing actually is that that actor that played the main character, Roberto Benigni, he also was a director. So that's very interesting actually. And he meets Dora, and she's a pretty school teacher, and basically they just fall in love. So then they marry, and obviously after a couple years off screen, we then see them with a son, which I don't even know how to say his name either. Giosui. I remember I used to call him Joseph when I first watched it for some reason. But anyway, their happiness obviously kind of comes to a halt when the father and the son, they're separated from Dora and they're taken to a concentration camp. Obviously, in the years that this was, the years that these were, the year that, oh my god, in the years that this film was set in, we were going through a very tough time, you know, all the Holocaust and all of those other factors were very big out there, and I know it's a very sad topic to bring up, but this film played it out so well, and obviously it's just something that it's just a harshness of reality. It happened, and people can't act like it didn't happen, but it was a very unfortunate time. So, Guido's main goal, now that they're at this camp, he wants to just kind of shelter his son from what's really going to be happening, you know, because being in a concentration camp is no good. It's horrifying, especially if you have a son. You guys are going to be separated, and it's crazy and such. We know we don't even need to go over everything because, I mean, just imagine the thought of that is crazy. So basically, the father, he's convincing his son that it's all a game. He's convincing his son that all that they do at the camp is just merely a game. And like, I love this so much because there were so many good acting scenes where you can tell that the father was like, he would work his ass off, he would go to sleep, he would wake up, and all he cared about, literally all he cared about was his son. All he cared about was his son. If his son ever came across something, like he didn't care what he had to do. He would try to stop his son from noticing this or from, you know, it was crazy how well he was able to play it off as a father, you know. He had the truest and like the deepest sort of love for his son. He wanted the utmost best for his son. He wanted his son to just not have to be exposed to something so vulgar at his age. And I love that so much. There were so many scenes. I would literally get so sad whenever I would see some sort of, I remember watching this and I remember seeing scenes where he was like, where he was separated from his son, and obviously it's a very hard because it's a camp and there's many other people there, and they also have like, I think, different like buildings and such, so it was really hard being in his building, in his section, and obviously all he wanted to worry about was was his son, and that's not cool. But there were so many scenes I loved about this. Like, I can't even lie right now. I know I am going to touch a bit on some of my personal, like, favorite scenes. Some of the scenes that I felt showcased true, like, the deepest emotion and the saddest aspects of this film overall. But I loved it so much. I also liked how it is a very sad film, obviously, but I think the whole reason why it was even called Life is Beautiful is just because it's so crazy what the man was able to do with his life. You know, looking before he met Dora, he was a simple waiter, right? He had his own personal views, and he was hilarious. You know, he was a very comedian sort of guy, and he had jokes, you know, he had charm, he had charisma, which I think was amazing because if he hadn't been the person he was, if he didn't have the personality he was, I mean, who knows what he would have done to his son? Who knows what he would have like done for his son? You know, he probably wouldn't have taken the situation in that manner. Like maybe he would have left his son to experience it for what it was, but that's a huge sacrifice he's making. He could have been killed right on the spot for if anyone were ever to find out. I'm so sorry if my dog is barking in the background, but I was so upset. I was just so upset over the ending. I was so upset. I just couldn't believe it. When he died at the end and then the son basically takes on the narration and he says, "That is a sacrifice my father made for me," that gets me every time because I just can't believe that. I was so, oh my god, I was just so upset. I couldn't believe that because I know the death was inevitable. It was going to happen, but I think that's the whole point of what made it beautiful. We see this simple man. He has charisma, he has charm, he has humor, he's funny, and all this. He's amazing. He puts himself out there, right? And to see him go through something so just so scary. Like, I would be scared for my life. And he knew what he was doing. He knew the chances he was taking, and he still went through that. And I don't want to, like, let me talk about, what should I talk about? The music. Oh, the music was interesting. It says here on Google that, like, I'm just looking at the basic information that, you know, when you put in a movie and it just gives you, like, basic information, like the date and the genre and stuff. That's what I'm looking at mainly here. But it also tells me the featured song. Apparently this movie has a featured song, which is La Vida es Bella. And if I even said that right, I used to take French, but I don't think I said that right. But apparently that's the featured song, which, I mean, I like this film. I also liked how they use a lot of different languages in the film. I remember the first time I watched it, I was like, how are we even going to understand what they're saying? But it's all very straightforward, actually, and especially with the closed captions, you can't even go wrong. Like, you could understand everything. But I liked that he was Italian, because I liked how they showed that it wasn't only, like, you could literally be you could be like a quarter Jewish or whatever, and they would still find a way to hate you. I think maybe used to express just the hatred that ran from those people. It's crazy. And I couldn't believe that. But I don't know. But anyway, I'm literally been trying to explain why the title is called Life is Beautiful in my own words for like 5 minutes. But no, yeah, of course, as I said, he put his life out there, and he's been trying to protect his son. But what was truly beautiful about him was that he was able to put just his life aside. He put his life on hold just for his son, because that's what was truly important to him. And at the end, when he passes away, the true victory that he had in his life, what was truly beautiful about him, is that he was able to maintain the lives of his son and his wife. They were able to survive. And that right there, like, that's his victory, because he was able to let his family live, even if he had to sacrifice himself. He understood that. He understood he had to sacrifice himself, but his true victory, his true accomplishment was having the ability for his wife and son to stay alive, for them to have victory over Hitler and all this weird stuff that was going on. You know, that's what was truly beautiful about their life. And even, like, they went through so much. I mean, the guy fell in love with this beautiful woman. They started a family. And no way did they ever see that this was coming, you know? And that's why life is so beautiful. Through the ups and downs, he died fulfilled that he got his son out of there. I mean, I think when he died, I don't even think that did he even get his son? No, I don't think he did get his son out yet, but my God, he died for his family, and that right there, that's just what's beautiful. That's beautiful. That's amazing. That's crazy. And that was just beautiful. And I loved it. And I've also heard sorry, I can't talk. I've also heard that it's based off a true story. I remember when I watched this film, it was in English class, again, like I said earlier, in 8th grade. And my teacher did tell us that it was based off a true story, kind of. I'm pretty sure it was based upon a real survivor of the Holocaust. Which is I think that's another reason why they made him Italian, the main character. Because the real man, the one that had actually survived the Holocaust, he was Italian. So I'm also pretty sure that's why they made him Italian. But I love the message of this film. I liked the music too. The music was amazing. And like obviously before, even after everything bad happened, the music was still great. I liked how they were able to transition from the sort of, okay, I'm so sorry. If you can hear my dog barking in the background, I'm so sorry. I don't know what's up with my dog today. But as I was saying, I liked how for the music, you can definitely tell the transition of the mood here. It's kind of like this film was separated in 2 parts almost, because we get to see his life and him basically falling in love with Dora and such, and then that would be based on like that would be kind of like the first part of the film. And I liked how the music, it was able to suit not only that part of the film but also the other part of the film. The music was very transitional. Actually, I'm not gonna lie, I didn't even recognize that the first time I watched the movie. I'm telling you, like, if they were not good at setting the music to the actual central theme of the film, this would not have worked out. But they did an amazing, I think they did an amazing job with that, especially because this is such an interesting take on, like, we're seeing, like, a comedy, almost a love story, and we're also seeing a very sad, very, very sad story, so I think it's crazy. But the message of this film was so beautiful. I mean, he died, like, he knew what he was doing, he knew it was a challenge, but technically it was, I think it's also all about perception. He perceived this as something that he just had to do for his son, and honestly, he died under the weirdest and saddest circumstances, but his son was alive. His son is alive because of that. So I like that a lot. But obviously, I just realized that the song is obviously called La Vita è Bella. It's because that translates to life is beautiful, if I'm correct. Italian is very similar to Spanish, the languages, so that's kind of why I'm assuming. But yeah, I'll get into like a couple scenes that I liked personally. I just liked everything he did for his son, and even the scenes when they were like running around the whole camp and stuff, and he was just doing the best that he could for his son. That was so crazy. If I am correct, because I don't remember, if I am correct, I feel like there was one scene where he like basically made the son pretend that he wasn't Jewish or something, and try to make him fit in with the Americans, I believe. Something like that. But the son didn't know how to speak the language. He only knew how to speak their language. So that was a stressful scene. If I am correct, because that's what I remember. I'm not sure if I'm thinking correctly. That's a scene that's a very distant memory that I have of that scene. I'm not sure if that's correct though. But that scene was so stressful. I remember watching it. I couldn't stand it anymore. I was so stressed. I was like, no. But yeah, I'll just get into a couple scenes that were my personal favorite. So anyway, I don't want this to like be too long, so I'll just talk about like a few scenes, I guess. So a personal scene that I liked was actually the one I'm going to talk about. I think is the same one that you paused on before we went to lunch, where Dora and I keep saying his name wrong, Guido, something like that. I'm just gonna say Roberto, because that's his name in real life. Where they basically are falling in love, and they're like, she's dressed up all fancy, and they're right in front of a horse, and it like stays on the horse. I thought that was so funny. That probably could have been symbolism too, in a way. I just thought it was really funny because we did see the horse earlier in the film, and that was really funny how they used the horse in earlier terms, and then they had used it again while they were like literally falling in love. I think that was really funny. I enjoyed that too. And when they ran off, that was amazing. Like, the camera did really well there because the cameras didn't even have to move much. It was mainly just the actors. The actors, like, it just showed, I don't know how to explain it. Like, it wasn't too close up, which I liked personally because it felt like we were seeing it far away, almost like as if we were the point of view of a random stranger that would come across them, which I liked it because it made it feel more real, more natural, kind of to show how they were falling in love and how we were kind of just like the bystanders, you know? And I love that so much. The point of view that they gave us was crazy. And then when they were kind of like showing the horse more, I like that a lot also. That could have easily been like some sort of foreshadowing. Well, it can't be foreshadowing, but like we did see the horse earlier in the film, so that was a nice touch. And I also enjoy the scene where they finally get to the camp and like we see all these, I guess, not prison mates. Oh my god, obviously not prison mates. Oh god. No, what I mean was that when they finally get there and they see all the other guys that were there, obviously they're dirty, they're all wearing the same outfit and such, you know, we don't even need to go into the details. But when that was happening and we just see Guido trying to help his son Joshua, Joshua's like, I want my mom, like, it's ugly, and Guido's kind of like, I know, but this is just the circumstances that we have to deal with for now, which was sadly very true. And he was just showing, I love that so much, and just the pure tone, like, I don't feel like anybody really acknowledged his dialogue was crazy good. The camera also emphasized on the other people because it was just showing the contrast of them, who they were dressed normally, they were dressed good, and then when they get there they see all these other people that were clearly not dressed like them, clearly looked like they were dirty and everything. And Josh was just like, what is this? Like, what the heck is this? Because he's never seen this before. I also liked how the camera tried to emphasize on exactly how many people were at that camp and just the harsh reality of it all, because as soon as they were getting off the train, basically, it was a crazy amount of people that we saw. And I think we even got to see Dora in the crowd also. So that was a insane amount of people, and they definitely showed that very well, because, I mean, it was quite the number of people, and the camera did not hide that. The camera basically went over from a specific angle that showed you just how many people were there, which was really crazy. So, but anyway, I really liked how the camera played along here, so that was interesting. But then also, I forgot what I wanted to talk about. Well, anyway, yeah, I think I'll just end it there, because, oh yeah, that's what I was going to talk about, dialogue. I was saying that I don't think anybody even acknowledged, like, the father's just pure tone. His dialogue was amazing. The fact that he talked in a way, he made sure to talk and, like, change his facial expressions and body language and such, so that his son wouldn't think any differently than what he was actually trying to say. Like, for example, if he was trying to convince his son that it was a game, he was obviously not going to show that he was upset or that he was stressed out over all the work he'd been put through and all that stuff, you know. Like, he tried to be happy, he tried to show a better tone, he tried to show overall, like, better face expressions. He really tried to pass along the whole importance of this idea that he's giving his son, that it's a game. Like, he took it so seriously, and that even shows well that very much shows well through his dialogue and just the whole process that he did. The costumes were also a very big deal. As I said earlier, there was a huge contrast between just what the regular people would wear. Like, they were dressed very nicely, of course, and such, and then when they get there, they see these people, they look like they haven't showered in months. It's like they don't even get water. It's like they don't even get fed. They're treated so poorly. They literally look like they've been buried underground. And that's, I guess, if that was me personally, if that was me arriving there, that's how I would see them. Like, I would see it as a very crazy contrast and just a complete difference. So that was I think that was a very nice symbolism, showing just how, like, how, how undervalued, how undermined those people were to the actual Nazis and Hitler and such. That's how they were portrayed to the people who hated them, you know. That's what they were like for those people, and that's just really crazy. Like, the whole symbolism, everything was amazing in this film. There's way more I could touch on, but, like, I don't want to touch too deep into this analysis, because this is mainly extra credits, so I'll just end it here. And it was still relatively long, too, and I didn't want it to be long. This is all just me rambling. Anyway, thank you for listening, Mr. Patterson, if you actually listened this far. But, yeah, I guess I'll just take the extra credit then. And I enjoyed analyzing this film. I love this film. So, thank you so much for listening.